In today's tutorial, I will show you how to transfer a printed image onto a surface. You can use any image and any surface that you like, but keep in mind that the brightness of the image is directly linked to white copy paper. So if we try to transfer onto a dark surface, our image is not going to be very bright. But if you do try experimenting by transferring on a surface that has a bit of color and a pattern, you might get some interesting results. In order to do this, we are going to need to purchase something called polycrylic. This can be found in almost any hardware store and even Walmart. For this project, I'm going to be using the clear matte type, and the only other thing we need is a brush. Polycrylic is clear and it will allow your texture of your surface to appear in your image. What I've done on my board is spray painted the back white, so it will look very similar to the way it does when it is printed on white copy paper. Now, the last and most crucial part of this technique is that your image must be printed using a laser printer so that it uses toner instead of ink. This technique will not work using an ink printer. You can use very cheap printing services like Staples to print with toner. Now that we have all of our supplies, we can set up a work area for us and crack open our polycrylic and begin brushing the polycrylic onto our surface. You need to cover as much of your surface as your image calls for. Be sure to give your surface a fair amount of polycrylic, but make sure it is not too thick. Now, before I printed my image, I flipped it on the horizontal axis, so it looks backwards when it's printed, but when it is transferred, it is flipped back to its normal orientation. When you have text, it is very crucial to flip your image before printing it, otherwise your text will just be backwards. Then, before letting your polycrylic dry, add your image by placing the printed side face down. Make sure the paper is absolutely flat against your surface and there are no air bubbles trapped underneath. You can rub your fingers against the paper or use a card in order to press out all the air bubbles. Be sure to press firmly so that your image is sticking to the polycrylic. And now, all we have to do is wait at least an hour to an hour and a half to let the polycrylic dry. While you're waiting, you can wash out the polycrylic in your brush so that you can use it again and again. Next, when your paper is totally dry, you need to fill a cup with some water. Dip your brush in this cup and begin to spread water across the entire surface of the paper. Next, you're going to rub your fingertips in circles against the paper. The paper will begin to peel off in small pieces. Make sure you do not rub too hard or you could rub off the print too. Keep doing this until you believe you've removed as much paper as you can. You're going to need to repeat this step a few times in order to remove all the paper. So, once the paper is fully dry again, you can dip your brush in the water and begin spreading the water across the paper and again rubbing your fingers in circles to remove the paper in small pieces. After you do this a couple times, you'll begin to see your image transferred to the surface. The more times you repeat these final steps, the better the outcome. Just make sure you take your time and don't rush these final steps in order to get the best results for your image. And thank you for watching.